What's up, guys? It's Cassie and Sara, and today we're talking about the death of Marilyn Monroe.
So if you like watching murder mysteries and urban legends, make sure you hit that subscribe button and keep on watching.
So the reason that we look exactly the same as we did last week is because we are coming home from California in a couple days, so we had to pre-record.
Yes.
So sorry about the outfits.
Yep.
For several years heading into the early 1960s, Marilyn Monroe had been dependent on amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol, and she experienced various mental health problems that included depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and chronic insomnia. She had acquired a reputation for being difficult to work with, and she frequently delayed productions by being late to film sets in addition to having trouble remembering her lines. By 1960, this behavior was adversely affecting her career. For example, although she was author Truman Capote's preference choice to play Holly Golightly in the film adaptation of Breakfast at Tiffany's, Paramount Pictures declined to cast her due to fear that she would complicate the film's production. The two films Monroe completed in the 1960s, Let's Make Love in 1960 and The Misfits in 1961, were both critical and commercial failures. During the filming of the latter, she had to spend a week detoxing in a hospital. Her third marriage to author Arthur Miller also ended in divorce in January 1961. Instead of working, Monroe spent a large part of 1961 preoccupied with health problems and did not work on any new film projects. She underwent surgery for her endometriosis and other issues, and spent 4 weeks in the hospital care, including a brief stint in a mental ward for depression. Later in 1961, she moved back to Los Angeles after 6 years in Manhattan. She purchased a Spanish hacienda-style house in Brentwood. In early 1962, she received a World Film Favorite Golden Globe Award and began to shoot a new film for 20th Century Fox, Something's Gotta Give, a remake of My Favorite Wife in 1940. Days before filming began, Monroe caught sinusitis. Fox was advised to postpone the production, but the advice was not heeded, and filming began on schedule in late April. Monroe was too ill to work for the majority of the next 6 weeks, but despite confirmations by multiple doctors, the studio tried to pressure her by publicly alleging that she was faking it. On May 19th, she took a break from filming to sing Happy Birthday on stage at President John F. Kennedy's birthday celebration at Madison Square Garden in New York 10 days before his actual birthday. Monroe and Kennedy had mutual friends, and although they sometimes had casual sexual encounters, there is no evidence that the relationship was serious. After Monroe returned to LA from New York City, she resumed filming and celebrated her 36th birthday on set on June 1st. She was again absent for several days, which led 20th Century Fox to fire her on June 7th and sue her for breach of contract, demanding $750,000 in damages. She was replaced by Lee Remick, but after co-star Dean Martin refused to make the film with anyone other than Monroe, Fox sued him as well and shut down the production. The studio publicly blamed Monroe's drug addiction and alleged lack of professionalism for the demise of the film, even claiming that she was mentally disturbed. To counter the negative publicity, Monroe gave interviews to several high-profile publications, such as Life, Cosmopolitan, and Vogue, in her last weeks. After successfully renegotiating her contract with Fox, filming with Monroe was scheduled to resume in September on Something's Gotta Give, and Monroe made plans for starring in What a Way to Go in 1964, as well as a biopic about Jean Harlow. So Marilyn Monroe, famous actress, the whole works.
Yep.
She struggled with a lot of mental health, so she had depression, anxiety. She had problems with drugs, right? Alcohol, all things like that.
But she hid it well, because I know.
Yeah.
Here, I've heard about Marilyn Monroe my whole life, and none of that ever came up. And
you don't even in pictures. When I was searching pictures, for the video, all of her pictures were basically of her being happy.
Yeah.
There was no paparazzi photo of her looking depressed and sad or anything, which I know a lot of times people who are depressed always moping, whatever, but there was never any of those moments.
Yeah.
So she had a really good poker face, I would say. Yeah, this is kind of so far what's going on in Monroe's life to lead up to her final days. Monroe spent the last day of her life, Saturday, August 4th, at her Brentwood home. In the morning, she met with photographer Lawrence Schiller to discuss the possibility of Playboy publishing nude photos taken of her on set of Something's Gotta Give. She also received a massage from her personal massage therapist, talked with friends on the phone, and signed for deliveries. Present at the house in the morning were also her housekeeper, Eunice Murray, and her publicist, Patricia Newcomb, who had stayed overnight. According to Newcomb, they had an argument because Monroe had not slept well the night before. At 4:30 p.m. on Saturday, August 4th, Monroe's psychiatrist, Ralph Greenson, arrived at the house to conduct a therapy session and asked Newcomb to leave. Before Greenson left at around 7 p.m., he asked Murray to stay overnight and keep Monroe company. At approximately 7 to 7:15 p.m., Monroe received a call from Joe DiMaggio Jr., with whom she had stayed close with ever since her divorce from his father. He told her they had broken up with his girlfriend that she did not like. and he detected nothing alarming in Monroe's behavior. At around 7:40 to 7:45 p.m., she telephoned Greenson to tell him the news about the breakup of DiMaggio and his girlfriend. Monroe retired to her bedroom at approximately 8 p.m. She received a call from actor Peter Lawford, who was hoping to persuade her to attend his party that night. Lawford became alarmed because Monroe sounded like she was under the influence of drugs. She told him to say goodbye to Pat, say goodbye to the president, say goodbye to yourself because you're a nice guy, before drifting off. Unable to reach Monroe, Lawford called his agent Milton Evans, who unsuccessfully tried to reach Greenson, and later called Monroe's lawyer Milton A. Rudden. Rudden called Monroe's house and was assured by Eunice Murray that she was fine. At approximately 3:30 a.m. on Sunday, August 5th, Murray woke up sensing that something was wrong, and saw light from under Monroe's bedroom door, but she was not able to get a response and found the door locked. Murray telephoned Greenson, on whose advice she looked in through a window, and saw Monroe laying face down on her bed, covered by a sheet and clutching a telephone receiver. Greenson arrived shortly thereafter. He entered the room by breaking a window and found Monroe dead. He called her physician, Hyman Engelberg, who arrived at the house at around 3:50 a.m. and officially confirmed the death. At 4:25 a.m., they notified the Los Angeles Police Department. I find this, like, a little story a little bit strange, because when that guy, who was it? Was it DiMaggio? DiMaggio?
No. Well, no,
that was on the phone and couldn't get a hold of him, or Lawford?
Lawford.
Okay, so then when he called Eunice Murray, the housekeeper, and she's like, oh no,
She's just,
we're not worrying about it, like,
this happens all the time.
like, I feel like, why would you do that? Like, if he's concerned about
Yeah.
that, like, just go check on her, like.
I feel like the housekeeper is just like, this happens all the time, she's fine.
I know, but, like, someone, I don't know, someone who has all those, like, mental illnesses and, like, has issues with drugs, like, I don't know that you should just be like.
Well, it also wasn't, like, a big, mental health wasn't as big as it was.
I know.
now.
But I don't know, I guess, like, if he had said, oh, like, we were on the phone and she just, like,
Passed out.
said, say goodbye to all these people and then passed out, like, but maybe, like, they didn't know that those were, like, warning signs?
Maybe.
I don't know. Deputy Coroner Thomas Noguchi conducted Monroe's autopsy on the same day she was found dead, Sunday, August 5th. Based on the advanced state of rigor mortis at the time her body was discovered, it was estimated that she had died between 8:30 and 10:30 p.m. on August 4th. The toxicological analysis concluded that the cause of death was acute barbiturate poisoning. The police found empty bottles of these medicines next to her bed. There was no signs of external wounds or bruises on the body. The findings of the inquest were published on August 17th. Chief Coroner Theodore Curfey classified Monroe's death as probable suicide. The possibility of an accidental overdose was ruled out because the dosages found in her body were several times over the lethal limit and had been taken in one gulp or in a few gulps over a minute or so. At the time of her death, Monroe was reported to have been in a depressed mood and had been unkept and uninterested in maintaining her appearance. No suicide note was found, but Littman stated that this was not unusual because statistics show that less than 40% of suicide victims leave notes. During the 1960s, there was no widespread conspiracy theories about Monroe's death. The first allegations that she had been murdered originated in the anti-communist activist Frank A. Capel's self-published pamphlet, The Strange Death of Marilyn Monroe, in 1964, in which he claimed that her death was part of a communist conspiracy. The allegations of murder first became part of mainstream discussion with the publication of Norman Mailer's Marilyn, a biography, in 1973. Despite not having any evidence, Mailer repeated the claim that Monroe and Robert F. Kennedy had an affair and speculated that she was killed by either the FBI or CIA, who wished to use the murder as a point of pressure against the Kennedys. In 1982, Slatzer's private detective published Marilyn Monroe, Murder Cover-Up, in which he claimed that Monroe had been murdered by Jimmy Hoffa and mob boss Sam Giancana. Okay, so they did, like, the autopsy and all that stuff. They found that it was
Barbiturate poisoning.
So
They're just not, well, they think it's probable suicide.
yeah, because she had bottles of the stuff next to her bed, but because of the amount found in her system, it wasn't like a, oops, I took 3 instead of 1. It was like, I took handfuls type of deal. So that's what they're thinking of.
But they're also not sure if it was suicide because she didn't leave a note.
I don't know, but then, like, the fact that she could have been murdered, how?
If she was murdered, I think it's the housekeeper. Maybe she took, like, the whatever she had on, maybe the housekeeper, Eunice, took whatever she had on her little table next to her bed and put it in, like, a drink or food or something
That's a good idea.
And like,
Well,
that's
not
my
everybody.
theory.
That's a good thought. Like, what if she had mixed it in a drink, gave it to her, and it just took like a while to like kind of set in?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good idea because then she didn't even bother to go look at it.
Because
So,
she was
like,
also like, oh, she's fine.
yeah. So like maybe like if she had drugged her or whatever, she was like, oh, I'm not gonna go check on her because I want it to really set in for her to be like dead.
To let
I
the
mean-
more set in.
It's a good thought. Like, I don't know. Like, I definitely see like how she could have committed suicide because of all the pressure she was under and like all of that stuff, but I don't know. Like,
See, I made you think
it's
now.
it was good. Like, I was feeling like maybe she could have been murdered, but I wasn't sure like who. Like,
I think it's Eunice. Yeah.
I do like the Eunice thought though, and possibly the CIA. Because that's suspicious. So, we hope that you guys enjoyed this video about Marilyn Monroe. Let us know down below what you think about it. If you think that Eunice could have done it, if you think that she just committed suicide and just decided not to leave a note.
What if it was Jackie O?
I don't think so. Again.
She was like, stop effing with my husband. Hit that subscribe button. Follow all our social media down below.
Also, like the video.
Like.
It lets us know what you guys think, if you're liking our videos, if you like our content. And when you subscribe, it helps us to know that you like are interested in us and that you want to see us.
Because if you click that subscribe button, you help us grow, which means
You help us to achieve our goals.
and better content.
We will see you guys next Friday. Peace.
Wait.